the author of a new book, The People versus Tech, How the Internet is Killing Democracy. Jamie, and he's the director of the Center for Analysis of Social Media at Demos, the think tank. His previous books, The Dark Net, an examination of the hidden corners of the Internet, and Radicals, Outsiders Changing the World. Demos.org, of course, is the website. You can tweet Jamie at Jamie Bartlett, B-A-R-T-L-E-T-T, at Jamie Bartlett. Excuse me, at Jamie J. Bartlett. Do I have all that right, Jamie?
You got nearly all of that right. You made one small mistake. Our website is demos.co.uk. There's an American think tank with the same name as us, but we're different.
Ah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for the correction. Yeah, great. So your new book, The People versus Tech. Tell me, how is the Internet killing democracy?
Well, it's killing it slowly and under the guise of progress, which is why it's so difficult to spot. What I think is happening here is that we have an old system of democracy, representative government, and we've built it up over several decades with mass political parties and all these institutions that really make it work: a free press, a strong middle class, informed citizens who are willing to compromise with each other, a justice system that actually works to deal with crime. And suddenly we have imported this brand new digital technology that plays by a completely different set of rules, is borderless, hard to censor, hard to control, grows and improves exponentially. And in each of these kind of big pillars that I explained, that new technology is just unraveling, eroding the strength of those pillars. And what worries me is people will lose confidence in democracy as a system that actually works.
So let's concretize this. Give me an example.
Well, I suppose the most relevant and obvious one right now is the story of Cambridge Analytica, Russian disinformation, Facebook, and the election. This is a prime example of how, certainly in my country, but also in yours, we had a set of rules about how elections would work, and that involved being very transparent about how money was spent on elections. And in the UK, at least, I know that political parties would have to declare all the money and show the adverts that they were displaying during the campaign so regulators could check they were roughly honest. Now,
right, this is all in the context of the old media.
This is all in the old media, which to some extent was controllable, and we had rules for it. And then suddenly you have a brand new system of doing politics, very highly targeted, direct, micro-targeting of people who we've built up with profiles of all the things they've done online. And that's a very, very different way of doing elections, and it's much harder for the regulators to keep on top of.
So what do we do?
Well, the first thing we do, I suppose, is panic, which is one of the reasons
I think we're there.
In this book. Exactly, yeah, I think we are there, and I think the last few weeks, in a way, have been fairly helpful in making people understand quite what's going on. And then I think we start to act. So we will need more regulation of the Internet. I think it's very important, and it's part of how we try to move an old politics into this new setting. The recent appearance of Mark Zuckerberg in front of the House of Congress committees was an example, actually, of the politicians saying, well, we think we might need to regulate you, and him saying, we can handle this ourselves. But I think in the long run, we will need more regulation. So there's a lot of areas where we've got to regulate things. But I think we're going to need to be very, very imaginative, too. I mean, we're going to have to help unions reform in a digital age. We're going to have to try to defend the middle class, defend the media. These are important things that keep democracy working. And then some of it's down on us, on citizens. You know, we have to realize that every
sort No, I get it, Jamie, but what sort of regulation are you proposing?
So when it comes to elections, for example, I think that you have actually in America the Honest Ads Act, which is going to give a bit more transparency to political campaigning. Absolutely. You should also be introducing more data protection so individual people have the right to opt out of all of this data collection stuff. That's important because the ad-based model of social media is premised on keeping us addicted and constantly collecting information about us that can also be used by politicians. There are many benefits to this, of course, but I think it does harm politics. And so laws to protect more against the use of personal information will be vital. I think, for example, every time there is an election, every political party, because let's be honest, this isn't just Donald Trump, they are all doing this, every political party is going to have a register which shows every person they've targeted, how they've targeted them, what messages they've shown to them, because we have to have some mechanism by which we hold those technologies accountable. And so one of the things Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say this is part of a bigger thing, which is more and more decisions are taken that are very important through algorithms and big data, machine learning technology. And it's very sophisticated and complicated. And I think you saw in the recent hearings with Zuckerberg that a lot of senators don't really understand it. But we have to develop a right for senators or for political bodies to somehow be able to look at those algorithms and judge whether they are fair, whether they are discriminating against people. There needs to be a democratic system to hold this technology to account.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. With the previous comment that you had, the transparency in advertising, this is the problem I have with Citizens United. Justice Kennedy, actually there have been a series of them over the years, but it wasn't Alito. Oh, Scalia. That's right. Scalia wrote the majority opinion. Well, no, Kennedy wrote the majority opinion. It was Scalia's words, essentially, in Citizens United. And what Kennedy said in Citizens United was that the solution to dark money, the question is, what happens when a group of billionaires come in and say, we're going to drop $400 million into an election, which is what the Koch brothers said a few months ago about this coming election here this November. We're going to drop $400 million in. And the way that they're going to do it is they've got this group called Concerned Vets, I think is the name of it. And so they're going to run patriotic ads saying, we are veterans and we support this Republican candidate who's going to wipe out your Social Security. But they don't quite say all that, And so and then they've got another group which is Young People for Health Care. And of course they want to do away with Medicare and Medicaid. And so when you've got dark forces, for lack of a better phrase, when you've got billionaires who are trying to rig the economy on the one hand for their own benefit. Oh, there's no such thing as global warming. Keep pumping that oil. It's very profitable for us, by the way. And then on the other hand, hey, we're ideologues. We believe that there's no such. We agree with Maggie Thatcher. There's no such thing as society. There's only a collection of individuals. Every individual should be on their own. Sorry you were born with muscular dystrophy. Tough luck, kid. You're on your own. When you've got those kinds of people and they've got literally access to hundreds of billions of dollars, willing to spend hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars in individual elections, regulating political parties is meaningless.
Yes. You mean regular political parties? They're meaningless.
Yeah.
They don't have power.
Yeah, and just telling people, hey, this information came from the Koch brothers, people will go, so what? The damage is done. The message has been delivered. Jamie, I'm sorry, we're out of time. I missed my time cue. I wouldn't have gone so long in my rant there. But it's great talking with you. Jamie Bartlett, his new book is called The People versus Tech. Check it out. Jamie, thanks so much.
Thank you, Val.